Jin Woo gets paid for the mining job, and everybody's just praising him because he pretty much did most of the work. They finished 2 hours faster because of him. So the leader tries to recruit him to work under him. He says, thank you, but nah, I already got another job lined up. He's like, damn, well, you want to come on the job with us tomorrow? He's like, wait, y'all raiding again tomorrow? And he says, of course, it's another A-rank gate. Instead of the A team with Choi Jong-in and Sha Hae-in, it's going to be the B team of A-rank hunters going in. They divide their forces to clear dungeons, but if it was really that dangerous, the A team would be going. He just says, fuck it, where do I sign up? It's just another opportunity for experience. The leader says he's gonna ask them to pay Jin Woo double because of how much work he can do. He says, thanks. It cuts over to Jin Ho, who's drinking out at a restaurant he forced his cousin to go with him to. Damn. He tells her that the talk with his dad went good, was really setting up for him to become a guildmaster, and she's happy for him. This nigga's over here crying, saying I can't do it without Jin Woo. I've been calling him over and over again, and he hasn't picked up. He said he would be out of reach for some time, but it's been over a week already. She like, bro, what are y'all in a relationship or something? Like, grown-ass man acting like this. She notices this new popular hunter on the TV. New up-and-coming star, Lee Min, that's getting an evaluation in 2 days. She says all that shit's for show and that he's already received an A rank. He's just attention-mongering, and he's famous for advancing on women, and he even flirted with her juniors in modeling. I knew she was a model, cause she said he a scheming ass nigga. But really she's just annoyed that Jin Ho called her to this restaurant to cry about Jin Woo. She grabs his phone to call him. It actually starts going through. So he's like, wait, really? They say, what's up? Now he asks him what he's been doing, but bro, it's obvious. I've been raiding dungeons. Really, it's just the big bro, little bro dynamic. Like, he's just happy to hear from him. They make plans to meet up tomorrow. Then it cuts to Sha Hae-in making a call late at night, trying to get some information about Sung Jin Woo. She can't forget that aura. And that he claimed to get lost in the dungeon, but there's just no way. He could be some type of spy or something. The person on the phone asks if she means the E rank that's affiliated with the association. She like, yeah, do you know him? Apparently Choi Jong-in was trying to do the same shit and gather information on him. The chairman is looking out and put a high lock security on his data. Can't nobody really get information on him even though he's just an E rank. She flops on the bed just frustrated. Why was he different out of all the hunters she's met? Jin Woo was the first one that smelled nice. Really just staring at her ceiling in the middle of the night because of how a nigga smelled. That's crazy. It cuts to the next day with Jin Woo at his mining job and everybody's just happy to see him. It reminds him of his raid with Ju Hee and everybody. He just smiles thinking this isn't too bad. Once again, with Jin Woo's help, they just burn through all their work. And one of the hunters of the attack force comes over and asks if one of them can sub in for their porter. Basically just the guy who holds the bags while they fight. But that is not in their job description. These niggas are minors. Just one scratch from any monster in there would be enough to kill them. Ain't nobody really trying to risk their life. He says he'll pay double for the risk, but still ain't nobody trying to do that shit. This is the moment Jin Woo's been waiting for. I'll go. Of course, they're all just like, what? Scolding him and telling him he got a long life to live. There's no need for him to risk this dangerous shit. He says, don't worry about it. I'll be all right. Really, all he's focused on is getting inside the A rank dungeon. He's like, wait, what rank is he? And he says an E rank, but it's all good. We'll take him. He introduces himself as Sun Ki-hoon, the one who's leading the raid. Jin Woo just grabs the backpack and gathers up with the rest of the B team. 11 A rank hunters and 6 B rank hunters. And they look suited and booted, so let's get it. This my little boo thing right here though. And this might be Fern. But Jin Woo starts to get this feeling like the one he had at the Red Gate. Of course, they just head inside anyway. Fern tells him not to be nervous because their leader is outstanding. Jin Woo's just looking like, damn, Ju Hee really could have fit in perfectly if she could get over that being scared in battle shit. That's crazy because this is the second strongest attack force. The whole time she's just reassuring him that he's gonna be okay because basically the entire formation has to get taken out for him to get hurt. Basically, if you died, all of us are gonna die first. And they all start to hear a bit of a noise. They'll immediately get in formation with Jin Woo in the back. Like, they were quick as shit with this. Jin Woo's just surprised because they didn't even say anything. They all just knew what to do. But then he looks down the cave to see what's coming. It's a bunch of dungeon jackals. I thought they were wolf bats, I'm not gonna lie. But hey, this is an A-rank task force. This ain't no slouch work. Everybody getting they licks in. Even more of them try to run down. Come on now, dogs, stop playing with us. And then this baddie in the back start using magic and tell everybody to get down before sending a bunch of blasts everywhere. Actually, this might be Fern. She just takes out all the rest of the jackals. Then they're confused as to why these monsters are in an A-rank dungeon. Jin Woo's like, what, are they not supposed to be here? But it's not that, they're just so weak, they shouldn't be able to survive in a dungeon of this level. Even as a group, they can't take out any of the stronger monsters. That's when Jin Woo notices that one of them has a leash. Something is inside the dungeon, raising and taming them. Something that's smart enough to sick them on us like dogs. They have to be intelligent. Jin Woo says my premonition might come true, as he says the real ones are coming. And the leader actually takes a deuce in his pants as he sees this coming out the shadows. They all have the same reaction, saying, "Hi, orcs." Why hi, orc? I mean, I don't know shit about them, but they look like a gang of crash outs. One of them yells and just launches a spear at the company. He put straight gas on that bitch and threw it straight at the leader. He goes to use his shield. He does block it, but it ricochets all the way to the ceiling. The power on that shit was crazy, but he don't even have no time to think. Another follows up right behind him to chop his ass. He blocks that too, but they're jumping, bro, like they're not playing around. And none of the taunts or magic are slowing them down as they go to target the mages. He says, don't worry, we ain't going out like that, as he like wraps one of them up with fire, but then it just like dissipates off of him. And he just keeps running at him, bro, surprised it didn't work. But then someone else uses their magic to bind him. Shorty says, this shit is too strong. I can only hold him in place for 5 seconds. So one of them activates his ultimate attack and summons like a flaming knight to attack him. But if that shit don't work, then all of his energy is gonna be gone. Then boom, one of them gets hacked in the shoulder. But it's crazy because the healing shit is really like immediate. It's just too bad these orcs are relentless and they have them outnumbered, so the leader yells that they can't get surrounded. We gotta group up into 3-man team. But then he's starting to realize that that wouldn't even matter, because just one high orc is strong enough to go toe-to-toe with an A-rank hunter. But their 17-man team is made out of A and B-rank hunters, and they're outnumbered because there's 22 of the orcs. So they really just have no chance. And the leader just yells for everybody not to die. And Shorty over here yells for everybody to fall back as she activates her sexy jutsu and wraps this nigga up in a monster. And again, the healing magic in this shit is crazy because she really just reforms his arm from nothing and just back to normal. But the second she does this, there's a shadow looming over her, and that tentacle monster didn't really slow him down at all. So he goes to cut her down and she just braces for it, but Jin Woo slide in the cut with that hidden miss jutsu, and the orc just gets lifted up into the air and like ripped apart right in front of her. But again, he's invisible, so this shit just looks crazy, and she's confused as to why she's not dead. Now the leader is still out here holding his own, just trying to fight as best he can. But as he looks around, he can tell that it's just like the fight got easier and they aren't just getting hacked to pieces anymore. But we've seen that it's because Jin Woo is helping them while he's invisible, trying to weaken them as much as he can without getting noticed. So he's just running through, slicing them with his dagger and paralyzing them. But some of them actually catch on to him using the stealth, so he just deals with them swiftly so nobody notices. Then one of the hunters runs up behind that very orc and punches right through him. Damn, her waist is crazy. But she's like, yeah, I fucking got one. Now Jin Woo's just thinking to himself that it's not that he doubts the ability of the best task force, but one of them was really about to die, so he couldn't just stand by and let it happen. And he actually leveled up from just supporting them. Now he thinks that, you know, if he did it by himself, he probably could have gone up another one. But since this the hunter's dungeon and they paid all this money, I don't want to interfere too much. So the last orc falls and they're just standing around like, did we win? Because it went from them being slaughtered to just winning handily. Like they're all just chatting and happy that nobody died. But then my boo thing over here is looking at Jin Woo like, does this nigga think we're dumb? Anybody that uses magic could see that you just use stealth. Or she was just watching the entire time he saved the company. And Shorty asked the leader like, did you see that shit earlier? It looked like the orc got mangled by an invisible hand. And they figured that somebody secretly used magic. They asked Gina if it was her, but she's like, nah, that shit's not in my bag. I could barely even stop one of them things for a second. And the regular team doesn't have anybody on it that uses magic like that. And Shorty says, yeah, it must have been an outsider. And Jin Woo's just looking away trying to play it off. But she figures he has his reasons for hiding his strength and doesn't try to out him in front of everybody. But now they're all just asking, hey, are we gonna keep going? Like, this shit dangerous as hell the way them orcs just pulled up on us. And the knight in shining armor advises him that they should just retreat. Now he doesn't want to, because if he passes this dungeon, he'll officially be promoted to the leader. So Jin Woo knows that it can't be an easy choice for him, but if he's a sensible leader, he'll retreat. And that's what he said they'll do. So they all just take a sigh of relief. Phew, we getting the fuck out of here. They thought he was about to drag them further in, but he says, nah, I ain't that foolish. So they're leaving the dungeon and heading back to the gate when he yells for them to stop because something's wrong. The blue gate has been covered with a purple barrier, and she says it's some high-level spell, but given some time, she should be able to get rid of it. Then as she starts to approach it with her magic, she feels this crazy chill of aura. And it's not just her, everybody felt it. Of course, Jin Woo too. They can all tell immediately that it's coming from the boss of the dungeon. So they all kick it into high gear just trying to get the fucking gate open. And all the magicians try to weaken it, but then all of them just start bleeding and coughing up blood. Like there was some type of curse magic on the barrier that attacks people who mess with the barrier. So they're trying to use some holy magic to help them out, but the leader is just focused on all these eyes lurking in the shadows. And all he can say is damn. Because the last time they pulled up, it was 20. But now these niggas got a whole platoon of 50 orcs rolling deep. And remember, just one of them is equal to an A rank hunter. So really their group stands no chance. And one of them walks up to him and just starts screaming in a language that he can't understand, while the whole gang is just menacing behind him. We won't jump you. But then his face starts to contort as his body gets possessed, and he starts speaking their language. Humans, I wish to meet with you guys. But the mages can tell that body is just being used as a puppet. And why would a monster want to talk to us? Like, this shit gotta be a trap. And the leader asks if he's the one that set up the barrier on the gate. And he says, yes, I am the prideful Orcs' great sorcerer. My magic can't be dispelled by you humans, as it shows them going the fuck through it. So he asks, is there anybody stronger than you in this cave? But he says, who? Who would dare to go against me? You have two choices. Die by my men or follow my men to me. And he just agrees to follow them because if they fight right now, they're definitely dead. But Jin Woo's just thinking how the boss definitely has even more orcs just hanging around him. So the chances of survival are even lower if you go with him. He's like, is he trying to negotiate with the boss? But then he speaks to Jin Woo and tells him that they're going to go for a surprise attack. And that when they do, he should use that as an opportunity to escape and call the main attack force to help out. But he says, by the time I get back, you know y'all niggas gonna be cooked, right? Like, do you plan on dying with the boss? But he says our objective is to close the gate rather than making it out alive. That's what people pay us all this money for. And this lady hands Jin Woo her will and asks him to give it to her family if he makes it out. And really all of them just start apologizing to him because he wasn't even supposed to be there. So they're all basically gonna sacrifice themselves so he can make it out alive. And he says, I'll hold on to it for now, but there won't be a need for me to deliver it. As it cuts to Sha Hae-in, who is currently outside of that dungeon and trying to find Jin Woo amongst the rest of the mining crew. And she asks the leader where he's at. He tells him he's in the dungeon filling in for a porter. So she's like, ain't no fucking way he risking his life like that as an E rank hunter just going in an A rank dungeon. Then she remembers her suspicious hunch about him and that she remembers him carrying a weapon. So she's about to go in the dungeon after them. But since it was her day off, she don't got her weapon on her and has to ask the mining crew for one. And that's how we get this. One of the best panels in the show. She's like, do y'all got a sword or a spear or something? But come on, bro, we're the mining crew. Like, what did you expect? And at first she wasn't gonna take it, but then she just thanks him, grabs it, and runs in. As it cuts back to these pimped out orcs standing just 10 toes down. I'm not gonna lie, you gotta turn your phone to the side to see just how many of these niggas there are. Remember, one of them is equal to an A rank hunter, and the boss just got him on his left and right, ready to crash out as he welcomes the humans into his chambers. And the leader's just looking like, damn, because if they made it out of the gate and into the real world, they could destroy a whole city before anyone could do anything. So they have to try some surprise attack to take out the boss. But even the guards on his right and left just look too sturdy. But even so, they all plan to attack when the leader gives a signal. But then he asks, do you fear me, humans? As he takes off his mask, and it sends like a shiver of aura through the whole room. And he might have put them in a genjutsu, I'm not gonna lie, because it looks like they all seen their own death before it shows that they're all just too petrified to even move. His power is just overwhelming. They ain't never felt no shit like this before. So the leader asks, why did you bring us here? Because with the troops they have, they could have just killed them back at the gate. But the king says, it was for entertainment. With the time we have here, we're just gonna kill you guys for our own fun. However, there seems to be something odd amongst you humans. Talking about Jin Woo. But he's just having a breakdown because, bro, they're not even viewing them as enemies. Just toys to play with and kill whenever they want. So he gets heated and yells for everyone to charge and attack the boss as he runs up on it. But they're not real ones. Nobody else moved. Again, they're all just too terrified. But it is crazy they just left him out in the cold like that. But he says fuck it and keeps charging anyway. But the boss just puts up this shield without moving at all and sends him tumbling backwards to the group before calling him a foolish human and using gravitation magic to lift him up into the air before slamming him into the ground in front of everybody. And like, he's okay, but then he picks him back back up and starts pinballing him in between the ceiling and the ground, just crashing him into both. And all everybody can do is just look in horror. But as he's being ragdolled, he just disappears because Jin Woo pulled him out of that loop. And he's alive, but barely. So Jin Woo asks him, I know the dungeons are the hunter's property, but y'all niggas about to get cooked. So is it cool if I just take out all the monsters in the room? As one of the orcs tries to run up and hit him from behind, then he just uses his dominator's touch to grab the big guy and give him a taste of their own medicine. Jin Woo funny as shit. Now let me ask you again, and I take out all the monsters in this dungeon? And he just says, please help us. Now the boss says Jin Woo's impressive for a mere human, but how long can that last against all of us? And Jin Woo tells him he is the strongest monster he's ever seen. But he's like, duh, obviously. But then he says this fight is a bad matchup. For you, I mean. As he summons the gang from the shadows. Like, just look at the flick. You know gang had to pose for the bitches. And then it cuts to Woo Jin pulling up outside the dungeon, obviously looking for Jin Woo, because he's seen that he took on a job working with the miners. So he asked the leader where he's at. He says he went in the dungeon to fill in for the task force's porter. And also that Sha Hae-in went in behind him looking for him as well. Now the miners are speculating that Jin Woo might actually be some secret murderer since the authorities are looking for him. But they say, don't worry, you're gonna find out soon, as they go to head in behind him. But as soon as he gets close, his glasses fucking shatter. Or not, maybe, because he got him right back. But he can just feel the tremendous energy coming from the dungeon. And they measure it to find out that it's even dangerous among A-rank gates. So they hurry in behind them because they could really be in trouble. But then it cuts to Sha Hae-in, who finds the first wave of orcs that they beat, and she's confused as to how they even beat this many. But then she feels the aura coming from the boss's room and locks in. She ties her hair up and grabs the pickaxe because people are really in danger. But then it cuts back to these niggas still taking flicks, a dead ass posing just for us. But the boss is like, do you really think you could beat us with that many soldiers? But Jin Woo say, don't underestimate us or it's gonna be a disaster, as he activates a new skill called Domain of the Monarch, where all of his soldiers are 50% stronger inside this space. And they also get this purple aura to them, like this shit is sexy. But all the rest of the hunters are just looking because what the fuck is going on? If you don't know what Jin Woo's doing, this shit just looks insane.